Waiting, an action that has existed since the beginning of time and something that we still do today, whether it be waiting in a drive-thru or waiting to get off the plane or waiting for my dad to come back. It's always been something we just had to do. But you know what I don't like to wait? When it comes to album releases. With Lil Durk's latest project Almost Healed, the fact that I had to wait 2 more weeks for this pile of mid is what's eventually going to be the death of me. So the last time I reviewed a Lil Durk album was last year around the same time when he dropped 7220, and now flash forward to today with Almost Healed, and I feel like I've only gotten the same thoughts and feelings I had when I first listened to 7220. It's aight. Like, there's not too much here that actually screams AOTY to me, and while Durk does go into some aspects on this album such as King Von's death, his brother's death, and trust among his peers, we still get the same slew of pretty basic trap lyricism with him talking about sliding on his ops and the kind of woman he likes that I feel doesn't really elevate this album to its highest potential. And I swear I'm not trying to be one of those spiritual, lyrical, hypocritical, cynical kind of guys, but I feel like when I'm listening to this album, instead of getting something completely fresh and more engaging, I'm instead just getting a 7220 part 2. And even when you ignore the usual trap lyricism that Durk dishes out, there's still a collection of bars lingering on this album that made me question what in the actual fuck I was listening to sometimes. With Durk giving out some wonderful lines such as Bodega Slides, I love pretty feet, or California got real niggas, I hate when they say Cali weird, or my favorite one, Pussy stankin', she trying to blame her pH balance, I'm like no. So while I want to be more open-minded and easier going on the lyricism because this isn't my first rodeo with rappers like this, it's kind of hard to be when 90% of these tracks are pretty mid-grade and Durk's delivery can only go so far, even if his wordplay can be pretty solid sometimes. And as for the production, I would say there's also not much here for me to really want to talk about. I mean, for the majority, it's just piano trap, choir trap, and guitar trap sound that you'd usually hear from the likes of NBA Youngboy, Lil Baby, Rod Wave, and many others. And while I know there's an audience for that kind of sound, especially when it comes to guys like Youngboy, who probably has the most dedicated and delusional fan base of all time, I feel like when I hear these style of trap beats, they can only go so far. Like when taking a look at this 21 track album, which doesn't even need to be that long by the way, there's at least 15 beats here that carry the same rhythm, elements, and overall structure that makes it feel less like a good listening experience for me and more like a chore that I just gotta get over with. I mean, seriously, how many times can you put the Shenron summoning sound effect on an album before you actually summon the dragon himself? Now, the vocal mixing was fine and nothing didn't seem to be drowned out, which was good, and when looking at the positives of the beat making side, there was some interesting beats here such as B12, which instead utilized very heavy bass and vocal sample rips to make this messy concoction that I can't tell if I love or hate, or the track before Fajar that relies on echoing sample loops in the background and the standard 808 hat trap combo to kind of raise the energy per se, which I thought was pretty neat. But as stated before, this is only a small margin in comparison to the majority of very bland beats we got along with this project. And then there's the features, which were alright for the majority. I think the only ones that really caught my attention were J. Cole and Morgan Wallen, with J. Cole tapping in on All My Life, which I thought was a pretty solid track, although a little corny with the children's choir. But aside from that, Cole's verse was pretty good, going in on the deaths of rappers and how people only decide to recognize and to care only once they've already passed. But as for Morgan Wallen, he was also on 7220, and while I did like his vocals, I thought he did a great job on the chorus and verse. I feel like this is just another song that I didn't really need to hear. Like, it's not bad, but I just didn't care for this song at all. But aside from that, there was a Juice WRLD feature that I won't talk about because I'm done with posthumous stuff, and there was also a Kodak Black feature as well, but I'm gonna just put them in the same category as Chief Wook on this album and say that they were both ass. But overall, this album wasn't complete dog shit. It had some high notes, but even still, it's not enough to bring this album above mediocre in my book. So to put this on a scale, I'm giving it a strong 4 out of 10, being something I'll forget by the end of June. But how do you guys feel about the latest Lil Durk album? What would you rate it? Let me know down in the comments by liking and subscribing, follow my IG and Twitter, and follow Chocolate on Instagram for more illustrations. And on that note, I'll see you guys next time when I figure out how to fight a bear with one arm. Peace.